Hey guys, OJ Albina here, bringing you guys my AP8 Little Cup Season 2 Week 8 battle, I believe it is, against our good buddy Silver Smasher and his Galactic Garchomps. Now, if you don't know Silver already, and you haven't seen one of our many battles on this channel thus far, he is a phenomenal player. I personally think that he's top 15 in the format across, everything, Wi-Fi, showed and all that stuff. I think he's really, really slept on. If you haven't checked him out already, please go do so. He's uploading leagues like Academy. I think he's actually uploading this league on the side, which is pretty cool. And he's uploading UPO Wi-Fi as well, which is another league that we're in, that Silver actually runs, as a matter of fact. So yeah, definitely go check him out. I definitely recommend doing so. We're playing him in Little Cup this time, which is a little bit more of our home turf. Silver has never played Little Cup before, but I convinced him to step in as a replacement when we had a coach unfortunately drop recently. And he's actually performing really well despite never really playing in the format before. I believe he's won every single one of his games up to this point since he's, taken over the team. I think he's won 3 straight. So we definitely have our work cut out for us. Just because he hasn't played it before doesn't mean he doesn't know what he's doing at the very least. But yeah, with that being said, I'm just going to go over the match really quick and the 6 that I brought. If you want to see EVs and more specifics on the sets, I am going to leave a poke paste in the description below with our team down there so you can see that. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. Our team, if you did forget, consists of the Volibee, Meowth, Clamperl, Sandygast, Machop, Cleffa, Magnemite, Roggenrola, Smoochum, and Lotad, while Silver's team consists of the Aipom, Sandile, Dratini, Binacle, Alolan, Diglett, Zubat, Slowpoke, Fomantis, Salandit, and Paris. Very, very threatening team. Aipom is always scary versus any team at all. Just the multi-hit moves with Skill Link and Little Cup is gross, and the normal stab and the really good coverage it just has for the tier is really, really scary. Sandile, my team does not deal with very well at all. I'm terrified of a Scarf Sandile. Binacle can be scary, Dratini can be scary, and the Salandit can be scary. But other than that, I think our matchup's pretty nice. We have some pretty potent threats versus her opponent's team, that's for sure. Let's get right into that, though, and kind of let you know, brief overview, like I said, of the monster we bring a Protect, 3 attacks, Focus Sash, Smoochum. Basically going to be our lead here. We can hit everything pretty hard on my opponent's team. I believe we are Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, and Psychic with Protect. Then we have a pretty bulky Machop right here with the Steadfast ability, actually, so that if we get faked out by the Aipom, we'll actually outspeed everything on our team, barring Scarfers, which is really nice. But we're very bulky. We can pivot into things like the Sandile and not get 2-hit KO'd, and stuff like that. We're basically meant to eat a hit and hit something back pretty hard. He has the Slowpoke, which is a pretty good check to this, but I believe we have the Knockoff and the Thunder Punch, so Knockoff into Thunder Punch should usually knock out that thing. And then we have Magnemite, which I believe is a Recycle 3 attack set this week. We have a Life Orb Meowth, which is very scary versus our opponent's team. Obviously, we have a defensive Sandygast, which is going to be our main check to the Aipom. It's also going to be our rocker in this game. I think we are dual stabs with Rocks and Shore Up. And then we have a Nasty Plot Berry Juice Volibee. I wanted to be Eviolite with Roost, but due to the item clause, I couldn't really go with the Eviolite and Roost. So I went with Berry Juice and Protect, so we can avoid fake outs from the Aipom. Once our weak armor is procced, and he can't, cycle in and out on us like that. But if we can get our Berry Juice procced and get a weak armor boost and get a Nasty Plot up, once rocks are up, we pretty much just win the game. So Nasty Plot Volibee really does match up really well versus Silver's team here. So hopefully we can get that set up, and let's see how it ends up going. So yeah, right off the bat, you can see the 6 my opponent. I like to bring the Diglett, the Aipom, Slowpoke, Salandit, Sandile, and Dratini. Very offensive team. It's basically 5 offensive mons with Slowpoke as a pivot versus my team, which is definitely fair. I am going to lead off with my Smoochum. I figure he might want to lead off with his Diglett and get up rocks potentially. Otherwise, I can pressure everything else on the team. If he wants to lead off with Salandit, I can click Psych. If he wants to lead off with the Sandile, I click Ice Beam. Shadow Ball versus the Slowpoke. Everything besides the Aipom we deal with pretty well. So we are going to lead off with our Smoochum with the name, which is named after our buddy Ramsey, and Silver actually names his Diglett versus after our buddy Ramsey, which is pretty funny there. But he's going to go for the Stealth Rock turn 1, as I believe I end up just going straight for an Ice Beam. If he wasn't sashed, there's about a 50-50 roll to knock him out, depending on his spread and all that stuff. We're going to go straight for that Ice Beam, bring him down very low. Not bring him down to a sash, actually, though. He told me he was indeed sash Diglett. So he must have had some bulk investment to where it didn't bring him down to 1 HP. Or actually, I don't know how focus sash mechanics work. If it wouldn't have killed it, if it still says it goes down to 1 HP. But regardless, we're going to be able to go for a Psychic this next turn as he goes for the Iron Head. And luckily, does not flinch us. That would have sucked. We would have lost our Smoochum right there for pretty much no reason. As the Alolan Diglett goes down, which is great. He's going to go into Dratini and click the Extreme Speed. I couldn't let this thing set up for free. It just wasn't a good idea on my end. So down goes Smoochum, but we traded 1 for 1, which is basically the point of that set this game. And I'm going to go right out into Sandygast because I can take this thing on pretty well unless he actually ends up being a mixed Dratini, which he does end up being, which is a really, really good set versus my team. Having that surf coverage for a lot of our mods is really good for him, as I am going to be able to eat that surf at least, get our water compaction, which does not matter unless he wants to click a physical move the next turn for some reason, as I am going to go for an Earth Power, and that is actually a 2-hit KO, which is great to know, so we can't, potentially set up on her or anything like that. I'm going to save my Sandygast, and I'm going to switch out into my Magnemite, because another surf should put us in range of our Berry Juice, which is obviously really nice. He's going to go for that surf. I'm going to get brought down into my range, as you're going to see. And despite being rocks up, we're able to get our Sturdy back, which is obviously great. So now at this point, he can't really beat us with this Dratini. He would have to, flinch us for something or anything crazy. But he's going to go for the E-Speed just to guarantee break our, Sturdy, as I end up going for the Recycle just to get my Berry Juice back in case I can pivot in later in the game. But I'm going to go for the Flash Cannon this turn as we do outspeed, and we are able to thankfully take out this Dratini, which is obviously really, really nice. Down it goes. Magnemite picking up another kill. This Mon has been a really, really pleasant surprise for our team thus far. As he's going to go out into the Salandit. This is completely fine with me. I think what I do is I go into my Sandygast. Yeah, so we're going to pivot out. We're going to sack our Sandygast, which is pretty scary when we still consider that our Meowth has its Sturdy broken, and he still has the Apom. So we're going to have to play pretty carefully around that guy, as he is going to go for the Flamethrower with his Salandit. Thankfully, he did not set up. That would have been very, very scary if he did. But we still have Meowth on the back to potentially pressure it with, fake outs and stuff like that. As this next turn, I am going to go out into Meowth, as I can just basically throw off a big, big hit on something, as he is going to switch out the Salandit that I just realized was nicknamed after me. So shout out to Silver for that. Go out into the Sandile. Wishing I clicked Water Pulse at this turn, but I did not, I don't think. Yeah, I just clicked the Fake Out to break any potential sashes or anything. We're going to do a ginormous chunk of Sandile, leading me to believe he is offensive, and I don't want to risk him being Scarf and, being able to knock us out. So I am going to switch out into my Machop, simply because it does, cover that. As Silver, I believe, is going to double out this turn, probably scouting for the Water Pulse, which he didn't really have the best switch-ins to. I suppose, yeah, he goes into the Slowpoke right here, which is definitely fair. And then he's going to double out this next turn. I'm assuming expecting Volibee is what I'm probably assuming, but I'm just going to go for a knockoff. I want the Eviolite on that, Gone, the Slowpoke, simply because it's free setup fodder for my Volibee. So he's going to go for the Fake Out this next turn on my Machop. I'm able to get my speed boost, so Steadfast does end up coming up clutch here, which is really, really cool, and this is going to force him to switch out. He can't knock us out at this point. With anything, we should be able to outspeed him. He's going to go out into the Slowpoke. I go for a big close combat, which does, nothing, but that's completely fine. We should be able to, dent this thing with a knockoff this next turn right here, as we do end up actually switching out, though, because, there's no reason for Machop to go down this early, and I know I couldn't live the Psychic from there, as I am going to go out into my Magnemite and hopefully proc my Berry Juice once again. He goes for the Psychic, though, which unfortunately is going to leave us just out of range by 1 HP of hitting our Berry Juice number. If we were 20 HP, then I think we would have been able to. But this turn, I'm going to go for a Flash Cannon. It covered his switch into the Sandile, as well as him trying to stay in and, attack me and stuff like that. We should be able to get our Berry Juice back. So I figured it was pretty no drawback, as he's going to like to just go for the Slack Off, which is fair. I guess he doesn't really switch into the Magnemite very well. I'm going to go for Thunderbolt this turn, however, and you're going to see we actually don't knock him out, which is better for us in all honesty, because he's going to go for a Scald right here, and it's going to bring us down pretty low here, but we aren't going to be knocked out. We're not going to get burned, and we're going to get right back up to full and get our Sturdy, which means that our Magnemite can essentially claim 2 kills right here, as he is going to switch out this turn. I believe he goes out into the Apom right here, just sacking it off. Essentially, I go for a Thunderbolt, and we're going to be able to take out that thing, which is great, because that was probably the biggest threat to my team. at this point, or so I thought. We'll get into that in a minute. But down goes the Aipom, which is good. We're looking at a pretty nice situation right here. He's going to go out into the Sandile, intimidate us, but that's completely fine. He's going to go for a Rock Slide right here, actually attempting to get the flinch, which is definitely a fair play on his end because it also made it to where I wouldn't just Berry Juice right back up. But I am going to go for a Hidden Power right here as we don't get flinched and we're able to take out the Sandile. So that crit didn't matter unless he was like super bulky, and we saw earlier that he wasn't. So that didn't really matter too much. As it is going to go down, he's going to be able to go into his Salandit. And I don't want to allow this thing to set up. I can still beat the Slowpoke with my special Volipede. He's going to go for the Flamethrower and just clean knock out our Magnemite right here, which is unfortunate, but it put in an absolute ton of work this game. I can't complain at all in, the outcome of that. As right here, I am going to go out into my Meowth right here. He's going to switch out into a Slowpoke, which is probably his designated check to this thing anyways. And go right into it, but he is actually at half at this point, so I am going to be able to fake this thing out, and I believe he's in range of a Seed Bomb at this point from my Meowth due to, the amount of health he's at. So he is going to pivot out, make the start play, and, scout and see exactly what I want to go for. Go out into the Salandit, which is fine, though, because this breaks a potential Sash if he wants to, do that. But it was definitely a fair scout on Silver's end. And at this point, I'm thinking I kind of just win with Meowth if I can, outspeed and knock this thing out. But he actually shows us that he is a Choice Scarf Salandit, and this is very scary. Thankfully, our Volibee is still very healthy. But if he's like Modest Scarf, he has a small chance to knock us out with Fire Blast after Rocks, as I am going to switch in my Volibee right here, and I'm just going to set up a Nasty Plot, because I don't actually Oko this thing from full, I don't believe. Yeah, I don't Oko this thing from full. So I am going to set up the Nasty Plot, because I know I'll be able to eat the hit and get my Berry Juice right back up. And yeah, that's going to allow me to basically throw off a Dark Pulse and claim a KO at this point. He has nothing to switch into this Mon at all left on his team. Why do I still have Sandygast the layout? That's the Mon that died a while ago. And we still have me out there. Sorry about that. Cool. So the game's not that close. As close. I mean, not that, much of a landslide at this point. He's going to switch out into a Slowpoke, though. I'm going to be able to get off a big Dark Pulse. And provided that he does not crit us, I check the calcs. If he's timid, he has, he cannot knock us out from 19 HP with Fire Blast. He has to be modest, or he has to be a crit. And I still think it's like a max roll if he's modest, or it might not even change the roll at all. But he is going to go for the Fire Blast. He is going to miss. However, I talked to Silver after the game that miss didn't matter unless he did end up getting the crit. Because of the fact that he was timid and I was, 1 HP out of range there. So GG's to my buddy Silver. That was a really good game. Scarf Salandit was a ginormous threat versus my team, and I definitely under-prepped for that one. So if we do play Silver in the playoffs again, we're going to have to circumvent our team to where we don't lose to that or Nasty Plot, because Nasty Plot would have been very terrifying there at the end too. But yeah, again, GG's to Silver. Go check him out. We should actually have had a game versus him go up last on Wednesday, I believe. No, Thursday. It should have went up on Thursday of us playing for UPO semis, which is a good game. So definitely go check that out if you haven't already. I'll probably leave a little thing on the screen or something like that for you to go check that out. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, all that stuff. Really does help me out. Lets me know that, what I'm doing is working and you guys are enjoying it and stuff like that. And if not, I need to, fix it obviously. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to get out of here. Later.